April 20th, 1942, 10:15 a.m., Rastenburg, East Prussia. The air in the Wolf's Lair is crisp, smelling of damp pine needles and high-octane fuel. A light breeze tugs at the long coats of high-ranking officers gathered on a muddy testing field. At the center of the clearing stand two steel titans, still smelling of fresh factory paint and hot oil. To the left, the Porsche Tiger. It is sleek, radical, and aggressive. Standing beside it is Dr. Ferdinand Porsche, the genius engineer and personal friend of the Führer. He looks confident. He has bet everything on a revolutionary petrol-electric drive, a system decades ahead of its time. He believes he hasn't just built a tank, he has built the future of warfare. To the right, the Henschel. It is boxy, utilitarian, and looks like a heavy brick made of Krupp steel. Its lead designer, Erwin Aders, stands quietly. He isn't a celebrity, he's a pragmatist. His machine is traditional, powered by a roaring Maybach YE12 and a complex but mechanical gearbox. The sound of clicking heels cuts through the low murmur of the crowd. Adolf Hitler arrives. Today is his 53rd birthday, and these two machines are the gifts he has been waiting for. The heavy tank program is no longer a blueprint, it is a reality. Gentlemen, the order is given, start your engines. The Porsche Tiger coughs first. A high-pitched whine of electric motors begins to hum, sounding more like a laboratory instrument than a weapon of war. Then the Henschel erupts with a guttural, throaty growl that vibrates in the chests of everyone standing nearby. The trial is simple, drive to the village of Görlitz and back. But as the flags drop and the tracks begin to churn the soft Prussian earth, the silence of the forest is shattered by the sound of grinding metal and a sudden, sharp pop from the Porsche Tiger. Dr. Porsche's face pales. A thin wisp of acrid blue smoke is beginning to curl out from his futuristic engine deck. The Duel hasn't even left the starting line, and already the future is starting to smell like an electrical fire. As the Henschel pulls ahead, its mechanical gears screaming but holding firm, Porsche realizes his friendship with the Führer might not be enough to overcome the laws of physics. The mud of East Prussia is unforgiving, and the revolutionary copper-hungry motors are heating to the point of no return. The Porsche Tiger is no longer moving, it is vibrating. Inside the hull, the air is thick with the scent of ionizing air and scorched insulation. The revolutionary petrol-electric drive, which used two V10 engines to power massive generators, which in turn powered electric motors at the drive sprockets, is suffering a catastrophic thermal event. In plain terms, it is melting from the inside out. Ferdinand Porsche stands stiffly, his eyes shielded from the glare of the sun, watching the Henschel trundle effortlessly through a ditch that his own machine had barely cleared. To the generals of the Heereswaffenamt, the sight is a confirmation of everything they feared. They wanted a tank that could be repaired with a hammer and a wrench by a farm boy from Bavaria. Instead, Porsche had given them a laboratory experiment that required a physicist to troubleshoot. But the failure in the mud is only half the story. The real tension is building back at the Berghof and the Ministry of Armaments. You see, Porsche wasn't just an engineer, he was a gambler, playing with the Reich's dwindling stack of chips. Convinced that his personal relationship with Hitler guaranteed him the contract, he had committed an act of industrial sabotage against his own country's war effort. Without a signed contract, and months before this trial even began, Porsche had already ordered the production of 90 full chassis at the Nibelungenwerk. The Führer will want the best, he had told his board, and the best is Porsche. Now, as the Henschel returns from the village of Görlitz, dusty, loud, but triumphantly functional, the trap is sprung. Albert Speer, the Minister of Armaments, looks at the charts. The Henschel uses a traditional gearbox. The Porsche Tiger requires massive amounts of copper, a strategic metal so rare in Germany that citizens were being asked to melt down their candlesticks for the war effort. The decision is a knife edge. If the German High Command chooses the Henschel, 90 sets of the most expensive armor plate in the world will become useless paperweights. If they choose the Porsche Tiger, They are handing their panzer crews a death trap that might catch fire before it sees a Soviet T-34. The debate in the war rooms is savage. Porsche points to the ease of steering. Aders points to the fact that his tank actually finished the course. Hitler is torn between his love for wonder weapons and the cold, hard reality that his armies are screaming for heavy armor now, not in a year when the teething problems are fixed. In the end, the order is cut. The Henschel is the winner. It will become the Tiger Win, the most feared name on the battlefield. But the 90 orphan hulls of the Porsche Tiger cannot be thrown away. They are a monument to Porsche's arrogance, and now the German army has to find a way to make them kill. The rejection of the Porsche Tiger should have been the end of the story, but in the desperate, resource-starved reality of 1943, nothing is ever truly wasted, no matter how flawed. The 90 hulls sitting at the Nibelungenwerk factory are transformed into a new kind of terror, the Ferdinand heavy tank destroyer. If the Henschel was a scalpel, the Ferdinand was a sledgehammer. Porsche's team stripped away the rotating turrets and bolted on massive, fixed, armoured boxes housing the longest, deadliest 80-metre gun in the German arsenal. They reinforced the front with nearly 8 inches of solid steel. It was, on paper, an unkillable mobile fortress. July 1943, the Battle of Kursk. The morning mist rises over the Soviet trenches, and for the first time the orphans of the Porsche project taste combat. The Ferdinands crawl forward, their electric hum lost in the thunder of the largest tank battle in human history. At first, the results are staggering. Soviet shells bounce off the Porsche-designed armor like raindrops. From 2 kilometers away, the long 80-meter guns turn T-34s into blackened pyres before the Russians even know they are being targeted. But as the day drags on, the ghosts of the April trials return to haunt the crews. The weight is too much. The 65-ton monsters begin to sink into the churned Russian earth. The electric motors, pushed to their breaking point, start to smoke. Without a machine gun for close-in defense, a catastrophic design oversight, Soviet infantry realize these giants are helpless at close range. Men with Molotov cocktails and satchel charges swarm over the silent, broken-down Ferdinands, dropping explosives into the engine vents. By the end of the offensive, the fields of Kursk are a graveyard of Porsche's ambition. While the Henschel Tiger, I would go on to become the face of the Panzerwaffe, the Porsche design would forever be remembered as a brilliant, over-engineered failure. The rivalry between Henschel and Porsche didn't just produce a tank, it illustrated the fatal flaw of the German war machine. One side chose the practical, the mechanical, and the reliable. The other chose the futuristic, the complex, and the experimental. Today, only one original Porsche Tiger hull remains in existence, a silent witness to the day in April 1942 when a genius engineer's dream was swallowed by the mud of East Prussia, leaving the Henschel to march into the history books alone.